We now have hello and welcome to the first ever online worship service from our Community Unitarian Universalist Church in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Welcome, welcome. I am Joe Wolfarth, and I am currently serving our congregation as president of our Board of Trustees. On behalf of all, I welcome you. We welcome you. We are excited and truly feel blessed to be able to present to you a worship service using 21st century technology. Although our church is less than 25 years old, we follow wise Unitarian Universalist traditions by welcoming all comers, no matter what faith path, if any, you were raised in, no matter what beliefs you embrace. We thank you for joining us and we welcome you. Whatever stage or walk of life you find yourself in, we welcome you. Whatever your gender or the color of your skin, we welcome you. And we do ask you to keep your devices muted during our presentation. So that all may hear it, please keep your devices muted. As Unitarian Universalists, we come to know that the pursuit of justice in many forms, including social justice, economic justice, and environmental justice, is crucial to our development as human beings. Our program today is designed to celebrate our commitment to justice as UUs and as human beings who share a planet with one another. In our sanctuary, we call the group to reverent worship via the ringing of our Buddhist singing bowl. The prelude that you just heard is a hymn found in our UU hymnal singing the living tradition. It is known alternately as How Can I Keep From Singing or My Life Flows On, an Endless Song. which is actually the first line of this classic hymn. I have loved it myself for about 30 years, thanks to the music of Enya, the Celtic songstress. You heard it sung by a UU choir in Oakland, California, and accompanied by visuals of Unitarian Universalists, often wearing yellow shirts which read, "Standing on the Side of Love." That's the name of a UU social justice campaign. If you are a Unitarian Universalist, and even if you're not, you might recognize some of the people in the video, including Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, who is currently serving our denomination as the president of its guiding council of leadership, the Unitarian Universalist Association, headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. Reverend Susan, as she's affectionately known, is at present one of the only female leaders ever elected to head any major religious denomination, and she herself has been arrested for civil disobedience numerous times in her career due to her unwavering commitment to social justice activism. Our opening words this morning come from the late beloved American hero, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The arc of the moral compass is long, but it bends toward justice. Our chalice lighting is a quote from another American who has himself inspired countless others around the world, former President Barack Obama. The arc of the moral universe may bend towards justice, but it doesn't bend on its own. At our church, we have a beloved history of sharing our joys and concerns with one another. As we are recording this presentation live, we ask people to feel free to share by using the chat function on their electronic device, their computer or smartphone, following the instructions on screen. We thank you for joining us on our maiden voyage into the uncharted waters of online video streaming. Maybe they're not uncharted to others, but for our church, this is a first. Thank you for being with us today. Getting back on track, we do have Words for All Ages, which is coming up now. This was submitted to us by our guest speaker today, Mr. Bud Muphy, Reverend Bud Muphy, and so please enjoy this short video.
It's smarter to travel in groups.
Sharing in responsibility for our church. We invite you to consider making a monetary contribution to our church when you are able. We realize that many in our nation are feeling financially unstable at the present time. Our church is a small, all-volunteer community church, financially dependent on pledges and donations from the community. Our offertory selection is another hymn beloved by Unitarian Universalists, entitled "Love Will Guide Us." You may recognize the words, as this too is in our hymnal, even if you don't recognize the melody in this beautiful arrangement by Sally Rogers. Enjoy.
Love will guide us, peace has dried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from free to living. Love will guide us through the hard life. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can hear from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has dried us, hope inside us will lead the way
Our offering dedication reads, with hearts grateful for all the good things that are ours, we dedicate our gifts. Amen, blessed be, aho. And in our church, we have a tradition of honoring the roots of our Judeo-Christian and Muslim paths with Amen. We have a tradition of honoring the roots of those who follow pagan and Wiccan paths with Blessed be. We have a tradition of following the roots of those who honor Native American spiritual paths with the Lakota word aho, which translates roughly to Amen. Our speaker today, who was kind enough to send us his message on video, is the Reverend Bud Muphy, a retired UU minister who is currently serving as the president of UU Justice Florida, a state action network which is pressing for laws consistent with our Unitarian Universalist principles and traditions and the ongoing need to manifest our UU values, including promoting environmental justice and fostering community resilience in areas impacted by extreme weather events, which Florida has experienced quite a bit of in recent years. Listen and watch as Reverend Bud shares more with us.
Hello, I'm Bud Muphy, a retired UU minister and current president of the Unitarian Universalist Justice Florida. UUJF is a state action network and one of 21 members of the Coalition of Unitarian Universalist State Action Networks that formed in 2015 and 2016. QSAN is an informal organization for collecting resources and facilitating connection among the individual state action networks. UUJF's three current broad issues are the health of our democracy, wealth disparity, and human welfare as impacted by, among other things, climate change and its impact on global warming and sea rise. We are just beginning to grapple with the more urgent and more recent COVID-19 pandemic. While UUJF focuses on the state of Florida, we recognize that these three broad issues continue to have worldwide implications for humans and for all life on Earth. I hope that my comments this morning will encourage you to find out more about UUJF's initiatives and that you will get involved with our legislative advocacy and our justice work, because our work and the issues on which we focus impact you and your local community. Claude Steiner, an author who wrote Radical Psychiatry, succinctly describes the situation that many of us experience when he states that oppression plus mystification equals alienation. And the way out of that alienation is awareness plus contact, which drives action and leads to liberation from the oppression. Oppression is any force that threatens our life and well-being. Mystification is any form of communication that obscures reality, specifically through things such as deletions, distortions, and generalizations. Contact is the connection between humans that is graphically described in a series of commercials, perhaps you've seen, in which animated creatures deal with oppression through contact with others in solidarity, which enhances their power. UUJF efforts are influenced by the work of Direct Action Research Training, the organization called DART. You can find out more about DART on their website. If you have participated in fighting against injustice towards harmony, or FAITH, the local DART organization, you may have personal experience of their effective strategies for building power through awareness and solidarity. Much of their approach to community empowerment is reminiscent of the community organizing strategies of Saul Alinsky, who wrote Rules for Radicals about how to successfully organize a movement of change, published shortly before his death in 1972. So how can we develop the awareness we need so that our solidarity is informed and effective? One of our primary initiatives is a legislative tracker developed and maintained by David Johnson, UUJF's current VP. It's accessible on our website, and it's a spreadsheet that tracks the movement of legislative efforts through the committee and legislative process. David uses the data to time action alerts, emails that he sends out to the network members, who then have the opportunity to contact their legislative representative in the House and Senate. Those who have been part of this initiative recognize the power of establishing a relationship with their representative over time. While there are times when our position for or against a piece of legislation may differ from their own, they welcome the analysis that we share and the consideration that some portion of their constituents support particular positions on that legislation. Those who visit our website and register, providing their full 9-digit zip code, will get alerts tailored to their local House and Senate district. Another example of informed actions are the initiatives of Jan Boer through our Climate Resilience Ministry, working with communities impacted by extreme weather and other actions that impact disadvantaged populations that often lack the resources to respond in the face of oppressive weather events, discriminatory zoning changes, or acts of irresponsible development that threaten the safety of their environment. Jan organized a photojournalism project that provided inexpensive cameras to youth in Panama City Beach that was impacted by Hurricane Michael. The young adults that participated are still experiencing homelessness or shelter insecurity, and the project gave them a way of dealing with that oppression and to raise awareness of the public and our state legislatures, who are in a position to help with continued funding. Jan helps communities identify local leaders who are willing to help communities in low-lying coastal areas so that they can actually sample floodwaters and the soil for contaminants to create a fact-based foundation for remediation and preventive actions. On a more theoretical level, my daughter Molly is preoccupied, as many of us are, with how we are dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. She posted a CNN News article about the use of a supercomputer called Summit, located at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. Summit uses artificial intelligence to run simulations based on what scientists know about the virus and past interventions, and using speeds 1 million times faster than today's laptops, it identified 77 drugs that might help in the development of an effective vaccine. We can superpower our research. In addition, each of us can be vigilant in this age of social media, where anyone can spread information that may or may not be true. We live in the information age, and in order to describe a current phenomenon, a new word has been coined: infodemics. We even use the term viral to describe the spread of these information bits. Traditional standards of freedom of speech that support expression of controversial subjects in public discourse are being re-examined. Just as we condemn shouting fire in a crowded theater, we may need to find ways to filter or hold people accountable for irresponsible postings of information that is not only without factual basis, but when believed may have harmful, even deadly consequences. I followed an exchange on the internet between my son and a friend, and it included the following. Okay, ongoing or recent tragedies. Syria, over 400,000 killed. Who knows how many animals killed? Who knows how many people and animals injured? And the majority of a country in ruins with massive amounts of people displaced, not to mention chemical warfare and countless strikes that are not kind to our planet. Displacement camps everywhere, people living in fear and squalor everywhere, often without access to basic needs, slamming them into survival mode. We were not created and gifted life to solely survive. Amazon rainforest fires. Let's burn our Earth's lungs for cows and soya and destroy homes, plant medicines, indigenous cultures, and the habitats of countless animals, finned and furred and feathered. Australian fires, after they finally got put out, which was after a month or two of intensity and loss of homes, habitats, and lives, loggers killed endangered, helpless, injured, and scared koalas who were in the way. Yes, they did. Siberian fires, I don't know much about them, but they had to have been tragic. California fires seem to be a yearly thing. Where do all the displaced go? Ice caps melting. All animals who require them to live, they're not doing so well. Our oceans full of plastic. Yet we keep producing more plastic, even though there are alternate solutions. The plastic waste kills massive amounts of marine life and chokes our waters. You know what else kills massive amounts of human life? Humans, backed by industry, and almost all done inhumanely. Baby seals clubbed to death in front of their helpless moms. Dolphins and whales sucked up into boats, leaving bloody trails. Sharks pulled up to have their fins cut off, then tossed back out like trash, while still alive, to die a horrible death of pain and suffocation. All fish overfished, so we farm them in disgusting enclosures. And we're panicked over a new virus, which, yes, is going to truly hurt many people's lives on micro and macro levels. The economic pinch and the fallout is already being felt. And yes, we've lost about at least 5,000 lives to date worldwide. But you know what else? China's air is clear. Vienna's canals are clear. And who knows what other environmental benefits are happening. It's like, as one woman I know put it, the earth is taking a much needed breath because we're allowing her to. We had such a chokehold on her. I had the thought today, and hence this post, which many of you might feel is over the top and morbid, yet I'm not exaggerating anything. It's as though our Mother Earth has been in a very toxic, abusive relationship, and no matter how hard she tries, no matter what beauty and bounty and glory she shows, she keeps getting punished, pillaged, plundered, raped, murdered. She even gets her mountaintops blasted off for out-of-date dirty coal, the same coal that runs many of the plants in China and worldwide, which dirtied our air. It only took a month for her to clean her air for us to breathe again. And yet, I bet the first chance man and industry gets, we will abuse her again. He's chomping at the bit to return to business as usual. But that isn't working. It has been for too long, yet we're so caught up in our ways of doing, we laugh off, scoff, scorn, attack, and slander those who look for, create, and present more viable solutions for living life in an extremely interconnected world as we move forward. I have a feeling these times might present another day of reckoning. I think there will be many camps, but as I foresee it right now, the two main ones will be camp socialists, who create necessary grassroots movements, the way most major ancient and modern religious texts speak of as to how we should treat our fellow brethren and the very planet we were gifted to live our lives upon, and the camp destroyers who fend for themselves and create mass hysteria and riots. But I guess it's kind of always boiled down to these two camps, the ones who create and the ones who destroy, and create to destroy. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally wake up to a new way of being. Ours is not sustainable as it is. 3 months in, and we're already starting to crack, especially in the service industries. And also, our skies and waters are already clearing. And also, we're seeing just how interconnected we are. We're witnessing the butterfly effect at warp speed. Or, this too shall pass, and will resume, carrying on our per the norm we've established. There's more I could have included, such as failed prisons and justice systems, the environmental havoc that the border wall is creating, failed child care and protective services, children living in cages at the border, separated from families, and sure, some traffickers, our lands and the abuse they endure, etc., etc., etc. Let's do what we can and take steps to foster a more resilient community where our solidarity makes us more successful as we cope with the next challenge. If you find yourself with time on your hand, and as you self-isolate, consider taking a look at another publication by Claude Steiner in another publication entitled The Heart of the Matter. I think you'll find his words demystifying and worth reading. You can get the link from my written words. Speaking of contagion, I saw another meme or message that said, also highly contagious is kindness, patience, love, enthusiasm, and a positive attitude. Don't wait to catch it from others, be a carrier. And another that said, after all, once this is over, what really will matter is how we treated each other. Together, we can bend Florida towards justice. Thank you for listening. I will post this transcript of this on the website with this presentation, and you can follow the links to other resources. Thank you very much.
This is your service leader. I offer profound thanks to Reverend Bud Muphy for holding up a magic mirror to our human civilization. As UUs, we know that together we can defeat any foe. Let's work to love one another and our Mother Earth. Now is the time when we prepare to carry the message. Our closing words are by American poet Emma Lazarus, who strove to help immigrants to find success in the United States of America as her own ancestors and yours and mine had done before.
Not like the breathing giant of Greek fame.
With conquering limbs, astride from land to land.
Here at our sea wash,
Sunset gates shall stand.
A mighty woman with a torch,
whose flame is the imprisoned lightning.
And her name, Mother of Exiles.
from her beacon hand,
Glows worldwide welcome.
her mild eyes command.
The air-breathed harbor that twin cities frame.
Keep ancient lands,
Your storied come.
cries she with silent lips.
Give me your tired,
Your poor,
your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
The wretched refuse of your teeming shore.
Send these the homeless.
tempest tossed to me.
I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Our postlude shares the power of our shared desire for world peace in a difficult age, as expressed by the incomparable UU singing songwriting duo named Emma's Revolution. Not for the poet Emma Lazarus, but for another famous Emma, writer and activist Emma Goldman, to whom is attributed the following quote: "If I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution." Bless your soul, Emma Goldman. It's sung by the Denver Women's Chorus.
Peace, shalom, shalom. 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 Peace, shalom,
We look forward to the time when we can meet again, live, in person. Future services will be announced in the weekly invite sent by email, on Facebook, and on our webpage. To make pledges or donations, please mail checks to CUUC, P.O. Box 238063, Port Orange, Florida 32123, 8289. For updates and more upcoming events, visit www.dbcuuc.org. Our mission is to reach out to those who seek a spiritual home. Our ongoing work is to build and sustain an open, caring, and accepting community for all ages. So together we may explore and experience diverse beliefs, grow spiritually, and promote a society that affirms these aspirations. Again, thank you for being with us today.